So
Great.
in terms of Twitter, as you can see on the slide here, we have prepared at IMO already for you the right imagery.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that. Did you receive that?
Sorry?
Did you receive you know, on the slide it says there's a header and there's a profile photo.
Yes, we did. We received it.
Okay, great. So we recommend that you use those. They've already been done by professionals and they will fit the right size that Twitter requires for the header and for the profile photo. And it's in line with the branding that is now the official branding for all of the MTCC. So everybody will have a different color and everything. And if everybody uses what we've created, it'll look really nice and professional. And that's how we suggest to get started. So once you've started and registered your account, like I said here, we also, hopefully you did the @MTCC_ Latin America. So that'll be your name, your username.
Well, we would like to ask you, because we tried to use that name MTCC _ Latin America, but it's too long.
Oh, okay.
So
It was too long.
Yes, we would like to know if we could use maybe a shorter name. I don't know,
You could.
America or.
Yeah, if Twitter doesn't allow you, is it because it's not allowing you?
Yes, it's not
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah, you could try to shorten it as you see fit. I think.
America?
Yeah. Why don't you try that?
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Oops. It sounds like somebody just hung up or something. I don't know. Can you hear this noise?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm
Me neither.
hearing. One second. What is this? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. There was some strange noise in my earphone. Okay, it's gone. Good. Right. Okay, perfect. So we can move on from the first slide to the next one about really getting into it. So basically, so Twitter, which is now recognized as an official communication tools for journalists, for pretty much any organization now to communicate. Something I have written in the toolkit, but just to remind you that basically we believe that Twitter will give you a lot of support in promoting and getting greater visibility for the projects in your region, in your country, but also in your region. So how do we tweet, basically? There are some golden rules that I didn't want to make it too long, but some golden rules like post to be really well written. Oh, would you like to hide webcam? Sorry. No? Okay. Yes, so you can write well, concise, just be mindful of the grammar. Of course, in your region, you can write in Spanish. That's absolutely normal because most of your partner and stakeholders will probably be speaking Spanish, which is absolutely fine. In the future, however, as your following grows, depending who you're talking to, just keep in mind that maybe sometimes you'll have to write in English as well, but it's okay to write in the two languages. There's absolutely no problem for that. One thing that is quite important in the world of, UN and international organization, people tend to use a lot of acronym, and we would recommend to try not to use too many. Like MTCC is already an acronym that's you have to read to know what it is. So we try to not use too many. Twitter now allows people to write tweets that are 280 characters, which is quite long. And I would also recommend not to use all of the space, all of the characters, if you can write in a shorter manner. And then the other thing is that, Twitter, given that its primary sort of like purpose is to lead to more information, you will often link to something else, a report, a website, a video, something. And it's also really important that you use a link shortener. I have put one in the toolkit that you can use. It's called Bitly. So whenever you have a long link or URL to post on your tweet, just make sure you shorten it and then paste the shortened version in the tweet. That way it looks a lot more clean and it doesn't waste all the space. So that's definitely an important thing to do.
Okay.
If we continue on how to tweet, we also recommend the use of photos. I know sometimes it's difficult and you don't always have a photo to put with your message, but if you can, as often as possible, we would recommend that you use a photo with your message. You can see in the slide there are a few examples that of how IMO uses images. For example, here we had a meeting, so it's not the most exciting photo. It's a bunch of people gathering, clapping at a special event, but still it gives you a little bit of a sense of the atmosphere and people like that. Sometimes we have our Secretary General, we put his photo. Sometimes it's about the environment. We put a turtle here. We have ships, of course. So a variety of different images, but as often as possible, try to use one.
Okay.
And so these are some basic rules. Then in terms of what exactly do you tweet?
Mhm.
For the MTCC, this is something that you will discover as you go along with your activities and project, but you are a very important organization now in your country and in your region. So always remember that you are the face of that organization, which is a very important project. So we recommend to tweet, for example, if you release a report on something quite important, if you have a video, a statement, something that you think would be of interest to the other MTCC Africa or MTCC Asia, things that could be of interest to your country or your region or the other MTCC. These are all good things that you can tweet. I also wrote here. One second. Oh yeah,
So,
when you have meetings, trips, senior officials, important meetings that where decisions are worth sharing. Those are all good reasons. It may be a good thing at some point for you and your team to just sit down and write a list of all the things that you think should be good tweets. Like for example, every time we have a press release, we tweet. Every time we have a new report, a meeting on one of the activity. Uh, so just make a list that may help you to organize how to get started on what you think you should be tweeting from MTCC Latin America.
okay. I have a question. For example, you just mentioned about, for example, reports or videos that others MTCC just do it or publish. Could we, I mean, like retweet or tweet it as our information?
If it's been shared by, let's say MTCC Asia shares a video, it's probably best if you retweet that one.
Okay.
You can like and retweet as well. You can do those two things, that's fine. But given that it's, let's say, a video that's about their region and their center or something, if you retweet it, anyways, everyone that follows you will see it. So there's
Okay.
no reason why you need to start a brand new one. I mean, you can, it's fine. And sometimes you may decide that's what you want to do, but maybe at first, just retweet it. That's
Okay.
probably, and then tweet the information that are really coming out from you at the beginning. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then if we go into a little bit of a more details, well, not details, but important functions of Twitter. I'm sure you've heard of a hashtag, which is a
Yeah.
very important feature of Twitter. Hashtags are used for a number of reasons. Sometimes it allows you to follow a conversation. For example, at IMO, we have many different hashtags for different events that we organize. World Maritime Day being one very important one, or Day of the Seafarer, or such events. So normally we create a hashtag that is not an acronym. It says what it is. to make it easy for people to know, okay, what is this hashtag? I want to know what's going on. So they click on it and then they can see all of the conversation from any account holder that is now discussing anything related to World Maritime Day right now. So it really allows you to engage in a conversation on a given topic. And the second and very important function, and that's maybe a little bit too much for you at this stage, but later in the future, with a hashtag, it allows you to track and analyze the engagement. Let's say at one point you decide you have a big event or a launch or an event, and you decide to create a hashtag called I don't know, what is one of your activity in Latin America that you'll be.
Well, our next activity is the launch event and our first regional workshop that will
Okay,
be in March.
and the workshop is on what topic?
Capacity building on climate change mitigation.
Okay, anyways, let's say you were to do climate change mitigation, MTCC climate change mitigation event or something, and then you launch, and then there are a few tools that after a while, like, you encourage all your participants to, to use the hashtag during the event, and then at the end of the week or something, you want to know, did anybody bothered, or and then there are a couple of tools that we could help you with, that you could see, oh, actually, yes, 1,000 people saw our tweets, or 100 people saw this tweet and this hashtag and used it. So it allows you to gather analytics, statistics, data to find out whether how to gauge on the engagement of that particular hashtag. So those would be the main two functions of the hashtag that you need to know for now. We do suggest that all the MTCCs use perhaps one all the time if they can, especially if it has something to do with the other MTCC, and that would be sharing ship technology. That's one we suggest. I mean, you don't need to use it all the time, but it's one that we think that if all five oops, what's this again, this noise? Oops. Oh, I think that's because I got a message. I have this noise again. You don't hear this? Okay, that's good.
No.
I really don't know what that is. Okay, right. Just gonna put that here then. Okay, so, oops. No. One second.
Sí. Oye, es que Bombito estaba en la oficina y no sé quién me está llamando.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we could.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Right. Yes, so we think that if like all five MTCC start using the same hashtag, like after a year or something, that hashtag will gain a lot of traction, and people will start to recognize that, oh, sharing ship technology, that has got to do with this GMN project. So it gets recognized and it builds visibility. The other extremely important thing that we use and is a key feature of Twitter is the mention. So here it is on this slide here. A mention is when you use the sign @ in front of the username, right? So for example, our handle is @IMOHQ, yours will be @MTCCL America or something like this. So a mention is really important for a number of reasons. If you send out a tweet and you put that in your tweet, like @IMOHQ, for example, I will see it. It's almost like sending me a direct message. So everyone can see it, but specifically that person. So it's really quite powerful because it can reach targeted people or targeted organization if you use it at the beginning of in your tweet. So we recommend that all of the MTCC follow each other, and that you tag. We could use a tag or mention. You can mention them whenever you see fit, or you think it's important, that they would benefit from knowing about a certain tweet. The other thing that we feel is quite important for you is to learn also what are the mention or username of the partners in your country, in your region that you think it's important. Like, for example, okay, here there's an example, MTCC Africa, they need to follow, for example, Kenya port, all the major ports, all the major, it can be private companies that would be interested in your activities, in your project, government officials, a lot of the government and intergovernmental organizations all have Twitter accounts. So just make a list of which one you think you should be following. And then sometimes if you have a very important message, make sure that you mention them into your tweet and they will see that. And then they probably will follow you as well in return. And that's how you build your followship. So
Okay.
that's quite important to have these mentions, as we call.
Okay. Great.
Right. So that's I also added here at the end a little aide mémoire, like a little reminder of what of the best practices really of Twitter. So you could look at that slide together after a while, but it pretty much covers what we've discussed. One thing that is I just sort of mentioned, but who to follow. Sometimes people ask me, well, who should I follow? Well, again, it's the same. Make a list of maybe by category, the NGO, government, private companies of that you think you should be knowing what's happening with them that could be interested for you, and just go and see if they have an account and just follow these people. One thing that also I get asked sometimes is about if I retweet or like, is it an endorsement? Can I do this? It's not anymore. How can I say? If you like something or if you retweet a post, I think people now understand it's not like an official endorsement. It's just something that you may think is relevant. Sometimes if you think, I don't know, it can be a port, has something that's quite relevant. It's not 100% directed, but you think, the people that follow us, they may want to know, I'm going to retweet this. It's absolutely fine to do that. It doesn't have to be always 100% about the MTCC or your activity. It might be a project that somebody else is doing and you think, oh, it's quite actually interesting or relevant. I'm going to retweet this. So Twitter is really about conversation, engaging, sharing things, but also retweeting other people's posts, liking other people's posts, commenting. It's not just you put out your information and that's it. You have to engage a little bit more, like a dialogue with different parties, if that makes any sense. Basically, yeah, interacting with account. I think in terms of the basic, I think that covers the basics of how to use Twitter. Do you have any questions?
Well, about Twitter, well, we know see the photo, then hashtags. Okay. For example, if we have, for example, the IMO post a new, for example, information about Globalas or Glomep, could we just retweet it or just, IMO HQ just published a new report regarding the Globalas, for example, and then use the link?
Yeah.
Could we post information of IMO?
Yes,
Or
you can do that. That's okay. You can do this, and sometimes what Twitter allows you to do, you can do a retweet and add a little comment on the retweet. So you can say, oh, we think that might be, IMO just posted this, we may think that's of interest to you, our audience. And then you just tweet that with your added comment. You can do that as well.
Okay. Also, how frequently could we tweet?
Yes, that's a very good question. That's something that I always say, start with an internal discussion with whoever is going to be doing this tweeting. It might be one person, it might be two people doing the tweeting. But I think obviously at the beginning it might not be as often because you want to get used to it, you want to see how people react to it. So you may decide that it's going to be just once a day or maybe just 3 times a week. And then as you build more momentum or you have more activities also in the center and the projects are taking shape, you may have more to tweet. So I would say perhaps have a little discussion, decide on the frequency. It shouldn't be too many either. You don't want to like overload your audience. But maybe once a day is a good target to start with. If you think it's too much, there's no problem in going 3 times a week. But if you have already a lot of information, you can go up to twice a day. I wouldn't say at the moment, I wouldn't think more than twice a day would be,
Yes.
it seems like it would be enough. But however, that being said, tweeting fresh tweets, I would say maybe once a day. However, you can do retweets that you can do a few every day also. That's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for now, it's only we have to focus only in the Twitter account.
Yes, for now, that's what we recommend, absolutely, because it's already it's probably the most serious of the social platform at the moment. Facebook, it's important, but it's not that it's lost its credibility, but the type of audience that you would find on it for that kind of project is not the right audience. We think that Twitter is a more serious and professional and credible type of tool for to be used, for example, for this kind of project. The people, the stakeholder, the organization, the government, they will tend to look more at that kind of platform to just kind of get an overview of what all the organization that they're following is doing. It gives you a good overview, like the feed that you'll be reading, because you'll be following other people too. So you'll also get a feel for, oh yeah, today I want to know, I'm just going to go see my feed. It's a bit like Facebook, but really a bit more professional, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah.
I have another question. For example, if we receive visitors here at the university, for example, from other universities or other organizations, could we, for example, tweet, "Oh, today we received the visit of the Minister of Government of
Yes,
USA," and maybe post the picture or something like that, or for a kind of, or do we need an authorization or something like that for some kind of
no,
visits or
no, not at,
meetings?
not at all. I think that's what makes Twitter so good, is that it's about the moment. So if you have that visit, just go for it. Take the picture, tweet. It's not something that not every tweet needs to be approved and go up the managerial. That's counterintuitive with the platform. It's got to be sort of more spontaneous in a way. If you have these visits, that's exactly the kind of things that, yes. And then make sure that if that minister who visits you, he may have an account, make sure you put his mention, and then he may then retweet you as well, and then you
Okay.
get more visibility, and then all his followers sees MTCC Latin America. So that's the right mindset to
Okay.
tweet. Yes.
Great. Thank you.
And I mean, go have a look at what the others MTCs are doing in tweeting, because everybody's getting started. Of course, look at what IMO's doing, because we've been doing it for quite some years, and we're doing quite well. So sometimes, if you want to get some ideas, you may want to see what we tweet. Sometimes to switch things around. Sometimes we have like, oh, did you know about something, or throwback Thursday, or fun facts, or different types of tweets that over the years we've developed, just to get inspiration.
Okay, so we could be use Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, sometimes if you want to talk about, I have no idea right now, but yeah, sometimes we do like right now we do fun facts or IMO facts, because we're celebrating 70 years of the IMO. So every couple of days I'll tweet something that's a fact about IMO, and I write hashtag IMO facts. or fun facts, and as well as hashtag IMO70 for the 70th anniversary. And I try to put a photo, like for example, we put a photo of the old building, what it looked like when it was black and white still, and things like this. So.
Okay. Well, great. For example, we also create our Instagram account. I don't know if we could maybe start also with Instagram. For example, we could use the same profile picture that for Twitter, but we would like to know if we need to put like a caption and I don't know, maybe mention the GMN project, IMO. For example, the branding more than anything.
It's a little bit tricky. The audience for Instagram is very different, and it's photos, right? It's only photos. So I think it's always good to add some kind of piece of information about what we're looking at. I think that if you're going to put a photo, yeah, you could write a little sentence, a couple hashtags if you want, but just make sure they're not acronym, because like if somebody arrives on your account and sees GMN, MTCC, that's just, they don't know what that means. It's just letters. So just be mindful that if you use that platform, try to provide a little bit of information on what we're looking at. What is this?
Okay, yep. Great. Well, thank